Hey, how's it going? Harrison Burns here again with Grieving Teens, and Christina joins me once again for how to talk to other people and approach them about their grief and the things that they're going through. Christina, go ahead and just give me your age and your occupation one more time for the record.
I am 27 years old. I am currently a clerical temp for the Desert Sand School District, and I graduated from Palm Desert in 2011.
Awesome, Christina. So I want to know originally, what was it that made you open up? What was it that kind of clicked in your head that you thought, maybe it's a good time to start talking, or maybe it's time to seek help? What was it that kind of changed?
I noticed that I didn't really have anybody to talk to about what I was going through. I didn't get to let it out. I almost felt like there was a pressure in my chest that it was just like a stuck, and it almost felt like I couldn't breathe. And so I just, I was very quiet. I'm usually a pretty, well, back in high school, I was pretty outgoing. Didn't really have a care in the world, and all of a sudden, I just kind of stepped back a second, and yeah, I was a lot more quiet, and I felt pretty lonely.
Understandable. And funny you should say that. That's about 80% of the people that I've interviewed is that they always feel like there's a boiling point, or there's something that they found that they start to become more closed off and reserved, and they're not typically like that, or they just don't have somebody to talk to. Those are typically the main three things that really get people to finally seek help. So it reaches a breaking point within somebody or so my second question to you is just, what are some of the ways in which we can approach others to kind of first open up and talk about their pain? How can we really be a friend to them? Because sometimes they don't really have anybody to talk to, or sometimes they're looking for somebody to really listen and understand. So what are some of the ways in which we can approach others, kind of make first contact, if you know what I mean?
I believe it's just, when you talk about your experience, it almost makes people more comfortable to come out with and talk about their experiences. It almost makes it feel okay. Um, I know when I first got into the group and hearing everyone's experiences, and once it made me feel comfortable. It made me feel like the things that I would say wouldn't upset anybody. And once I got it out, it it was almost like I took a deep breath and realized, like, hey, that wasn't so bad. Being able to have someone there and almost kind of make the first move, the open up, hearing them, the way they talked about it made me feel that it was okay. I I also coach. I coached for I was a girls wrestling coach, and a lot of times there's no time to be able to talk, except when we would drive to tournaments. When we drove to tournaments, it was me and the girl and a small group of girls, and just once someone opened up, it was just a conversation that just, it allowed everyone to share their experiences. It might not all be the same experience, but it felt nice to have to be heard.
Yeah, of course. I think that open communication between a small, honest group of people is a really positive way to get things out there. And you'd be surprised how supportive people can be when they realize that they're not alone in some of the things that they're going through, that other people are feeling. And like you said, I think it's kind of a chain reaction. Once one person opens up, it opens that door for other people to walk through as well. It makes it a little bit easier to realize you're not quite as alone as you once thought you might have been. I got to know, though, what are some of the ways in which you yourself have either helped other people or yourself through your grief? What are kind of some of the methods of catharsis, if you will, to positively impact your life for the better? Do you typically go for a run? Do you write things down? What are the ways in which you help yourself or other people?
Well, I had wrestling when I was in high school, so those practices were very challenging, where I had to put my whole body and my mind into getting through those practices. So it was almost like an escape of everything that was going on in my life. So after that, it was family. I really like movies, going to the movie theater. So after I was done with wrestling, whenever I would go to the movie theater, you're focused on the movie. It's something that I really enjoyed. It was something that I did with my dad every weekend. Um, so just finding ways to. I personally like finding ways to distract myself. Um, like I said, I lost my brother, so my mom lost her son, and I noticed that one thing that I tried to not push her to do, but I tried to um, convince her to do more of, is my mom likes to go out salsa dancing. So even sometimes she likes to go dance, and sometimes I'm like, hey mom, I'll she always asks me to go with her, and every once in a while I'll go with her, and we I know that's her escape. Um, finding what it is to almost take your mind off, have a break, have a mental break. Um, and then I also, like I said, I was a wrestling coach, so I had the practices that I would have to run and tournaments on the weekends. So when I was with those girls, it was about them. It was about helping them out, kept me busy. And then, but it was also nice having those breaks where we were driving and everything got to settle down, and we really got to know each other a little better. So
So do you think it's a healthy mix of having something very physical to advance with the problems and also a little bit of a distraction just so you can kind of have a break so you're not mentally overwhelmed by something?
yes, absolutely. It is kind of nice to have kind of a good balance. Like there was the physical, and then there was like the emotional. Like there was a physical break with practices, and then there was an emotional break with like watching a movie.
I agree. Yeah, yeah. I trained in Krav Maga for 2 years, so I understand the feeling of going into a studio or a dojo and just training, physically working out, just moving your body and getting distracted for a little while. And it's healthy. It's a really healthy way to. It almost kills two birds with one stone. You're helping your body, and you're also putting yourself in a very positive mental place. So I think it works for a lot of people too. Um, Although if somebody's not quite as physically inclined, I like to recommend certain things just to get them out.
Mhm.
I think being inside and being alone with your thoughts a lot of the time can lead to negativity. I remember I was that way. The more inside I am, and the more away from other people and not socializing, I tend to be very introspective and think really inwardly on myself and be self-critical. So I think a lot of the time, just getting out and helping yourself that way is a much easier way to manage yourself than it is just sit and overanalyze everything.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's my 2 cents in the matter. I appreciate your input, though. That was really wise. Thank you.
yeah. I know it's been really difficult, especially during these times where everyone's having to stay at home and no one gets to be in a social setting as much as they used to. But I look forward to everyone being healthy in the near future and able to find their distractions.
Yeah, I think it's important now more than ever with mental health on the decline nowadays. I think it's more important than ever to get out and to help yourself any way you can. Reach out, call a friend. Speaking of, Christina, if there was someone that was watching this video and they were struggling with something or they were looking for help and they didn't know where to go, is there something that you want to say to them, or is there a place that you'd want to recommend?
I would recommend finding what it is you really enjoy, and finding other people that enjoy those things too. Just that would be the first step to just being around other people that have interests that you are passionate about. Um, and then maybe, eventually, like, I feel like it is really nice talking to someone older, finding someone older to kind of almost be like a guidance, um, because the older you are, the more experience you have with life. Where that technically, the older you are, the more chances are that you've lost one or several people. So I feel like sometimes if you open up to someone who is older, um, it's a it makes for really really good conversation.
I agree. Well, Christina, that's really all I have for you. I appreciate all this discussion we've had, and thank you so much for your input and your insight.